So tell me something, is Spice the wrong person to bring positive messages to high school students, or exactly the right person? It's an interesting discussion. I'm Dionne Jackson Miller. Thank you so much for joining me. Time for the tea. So recently, Jamaica's big dancehall star Spice said she was going to be doing a school tour. And some church people said, hell no. See what I did there? If you don't get it, no worry, you soon get it. All right, now I have to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with Spice going into high schools and talking to students, right? I think, though, that given the society we live in, it does have to be done a certain way, and I think this maybe could have been done a little bit differently. I think that may have got a different response, and I say may very tentatively because, honestly, I think certain people are always going to have problems with Spice or somebody like Spice. I think, though, one of the really important things we need to be able to teach young people nowadays with the barrage of information they have coming at them is how to pick sense out of nonsense, how to listen to somebody and take what is good and what is valuable and what is useful and leave the rest. I just want to contextualize just for a moment just what a big star Spice is, just in case you're not a fan of dancehall or you're not a fan of the self-styled Queen of Dancehall. That's Spice. So she has 2.7 million subscribers on YouTube, over 1 billion views, 4.5 million followers on Instagram. She's a multiple award-winning artist. In August 2024, she was named Artist of the Decade at the Caribbean Music Awards. She's the first hardcore female dancehall artist to get a Grammy nomination in the reggae album category. That was at the 64th Grammy Awards for 10, her album, which included the hit Go Down There with Shaggy and Sean Paul. And by the way, Go Down There was on Barack Obama's 2021 favorite music playlist, which is kind of cool. She's also on VH1's Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now look, Spice is known for her sexually explicit lyrics, all right? I'm not try sugarcoat it, I'm not try go around it. And so, when some church people heard that she was going to be doing this school tour, they went ballistic. And in particular, Pastor Jeffrey Shuttleworth, who apparently took special objection to her new song, Hell No. I actually found that interesting that he chose that one to focus on, because Hell No is a response song, all right? There's a song out there by a male artist talking about all kinds of degrading things that he would do to women. Spice's Hell No is a response to say, hell no, no man not do me them things there. So for instance, she says, me and my friend them a talk and ting, me realize me not do certain thing, feel like me out of place and ting, cause me not do them the freaky thing. Alright, so maybe we can't challenge Spice to a battle, alright? Anyway, among the things she says she won't do are pills, cocaine, and certain types of sexual acts. So she says, for instance, the boy can't treat me like that, can't walk upon me like me a doormat. And she says at another point, me not cheap like exercise book. Oh no, hell no. So again, I'm not trying to pretend this is a clean song. It can't play upon air. It's what we would call not fit for airplay. But I was talking to Spice and she said, look, this was her way of saying to young women, you don't have to take every degrading, demeaning thing that a man wants you to do. You can stand up for yourself. You can say, hell no, no man not do me that. This is her way of sending that message in a way that she says they will get and they will listen to and they will be able to reach them. And people are listening or are watching. In just 3 weeks, the song has racked up over 4 million views on YouTube. All right, so the high school tour now. So Spice built the tour, the Oh No School Tour. She said she wants to empower adolescents through advocacy, self-worth. She said, let's normalize saying no to anything that devalues who you are. Oh no to early sex, drugs, crime, violence, alcohol, self-doubt, and procrastinations. So I should say, even though the flyer for the tour, the school tour, looked like the music video, you know, she made a point of saying she wasn't going in there to perform. She wasn't giving a concert, so it's not like the students were going to be exposed to dancing and lyrics and so on that you see in her music videos. In fact, she actually said she was going in as Grace Hamilton, which is her given name. So let me just address one last thing now. This idea that Spice would be coming into the schools as Grace Hamilton. And one of the objections was you can't separate the artist from the art. I'm not sure that's a general statement I would accept, but in this particular case, I don't think that argument holds water that she coming in as Grace. And I'll tell you why. I mean, again, when you look at the posters, everything, the kids are coming to listen to you because you're Spice. If you stripped her of all the trappings of Spice, the blue wig, the blue clothes, just the general excitement, and you put on a poster, Grace Hamilton, or you told the kids one day at devotion, Grace Hamilton is coming to address you, and she came in looking like one of us that you would probably pass in the street, there wouldn't be that excitement and that pull. I think a better argument is the one made by Dr. Lisa Tomlinson from UWI, who spoke to me on All Angles on TVJ. She was saying that a personal brand has different facets, and Spice is also a mother. You know, that's part of her social media. She's also an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. You know, she's a reality TV star. And yes, she's a singer as well, with the sexuality that goes with that. But that she can be coming in to showcase other aspects of her brand to the students other than the very overt and open sexuality that we see and sexually explicit lyrics and stuff that we see in the videos. So Pastor Shuttleworth took issue with the idea of the tour. He wanted to know if it was endorsed by the Ministry of Education. He was asking if it was a joke. He spoke in the video that was on TikTok about the X-rated nature of the lyrics and the moves. He said the lyrics were so X-rated he couldn't read them on air. He said the lyrics were lewd and crude and that immorality was evident in the lyrics and the video of the song. I think this is a really unfortunate description of the song and of the video, and also I think it's inaccurate. I actually wonder if Pastor actually understood the song, because when I listened to him and when I watched the video, which I've done over and over, I think he doesn't get it. I don't think he understands what it is she's saying and the message she's sending in that video. So again, let's be clear, song can't play on radio, all right? Spice uses the F word when she talks about what men can do to her and her friends. She uses the P word to say she won't allow men to perform a golden shower on her. She uses the Jamaican word joke to say she doesn't indulge in quick, casual sex. And there is a lot of dancing. It's a music video. What do you expect? Most of the dancing is done by groups of women. Women in groups. They're either dressed in school uniform or they're dressed as cheerleaders. And yet there's a lot of twerking, which apparently some people object to. Also, there are a couple of scenes. Remember I said she's talking about what she won't allow a man to do to her. So there are a couple of scenes when she's talking about that, when you see, you know, what's supposed to be a schoolboy and a schoolgirl having sex in a stall in the school bathroom, all right? So when the pastor claims that the song is about lewdness and crudeness, honestly, that is completely misrepresenting the song. He also said Spice is a symbol of sexual immorality and promiscuity. He said it makes a mockery of what we're trying to teach our children: decorum, dignity, decency, and discipline. Now, he's not the only person who objected, to be fair, all right? Among the other people who objected, for instance, the president of the National Parent-Teacher Association, Stuart Jacobs, was outraged. He said Spice doesn't have the moral authority to go into a school where young females are, or even young men, to speak. He said she's created a platform of indecency, lewd, slack lyrics that have nothing to do with proper development or positive impact of a child in Jamaica. And he said no principal or board at any level should allow the likes of Spice in their space. Wow, strong words, Mr. Jacob. Let me say first of all that there is a problem when you start equating sex or sexually explicit lyrics to promiscuity, as for instance the pastor did. It's an outer order statement, completely crossing the line. What you know about the woman's sexual life? What you know about her partner? No partner. I don't know. What you know about her sexual partners, so that you can be calling the woman promiscuous? That's just completely, honestly, out of order, right? And needs to be withdrawn. So the question is there a problem with Spice here as a messenger? Should principals padlock the gate if they see Spice a come? Bearing in mind, you know, she said schools were lining up to be part of the tour until all of this controversy started. So you can't take issue with the message, all right? She says she wants students to say no to early sex, to drugs, to alcohol, to violence, crime, and so on. So you can't take issue with that. So the issue is about the messenger. So is that something Spice can legitimately talk about? I have to say, first of all, there's some confusing of issues here, right? As I've said several times, yes, she sings about sexually explicit lyrics, but believe it or not, you can still sing about sex or talk about sex and still say sex is not for young people, sex is not for children. That is actually not a contradiction in terms, and I feel that people are seeming to suggest that there's some kind of contradiction. There's not a contradiction. Well, having said what I've said so far, I do think the tour could have been packaged a little bit differently. All right, so I'm a big believer in meeting people where they are, all right, talking to them in language they understand and having people talk to them that they can relate to. It's not easy to talk to teenagers a lot of the times. There's a lot of people them just not listen to, and especially if you want to talk about touchy things like sex, drugs, alcohol, and so on, domestic violence. Yes, that happens among teenagers as well. You need somebody that they will feel comfortable listening to, that they can relate to and open up to. And here we have Spice, colorful, with her bright blue signature wigs, her outfit. She's a beautiful, dynamic, talented, popular dancehall star. She's a Jamaican woman who has achieved so much. Do kids relate to her? Yes. Just watch a video of them of the school she did go into and look at how the children are swarming around her. They do relate to her. So for me, I think, why wouldn't we want to take advantage of that? Why wouldn't we say, all right, make we see how this can work, right? Listen to everybody, hear the concerns, but at the end of the day, let's find a way to make it work. Why we can't do that? So I was talking a little bit earlier and I said I think it could have been packaged a little differently. Let me tell you what I mean. Look at the flyer, for instance, for the school tour. It looks like the Hell No video. Normally, obviously, smart to piggyback on something that's popular. And I remember I said over 4 million views in 3 weeks. So normally it is smart to piggyback on something that's already successful. And Hell No is already successful. The problem, though, is that given the circumstances, a lot of people look at the flyer and they're not seeing positivity. They're seeing sex. They're seeing, as we heard them say, lewdness and crudeness and so on. So I would have done a different type of flyer, right? I wouldn't have the flyer look like our video. Have it same Spice still, because Spice is the attraction. Beautiful blue hair and her, if you look at how she went into the school, beautiful blue pantsuit and so on. But I would take it down a notch. The aim for me when people look at that should be to say positivity, positive messages and so on, not to look at it and say music video. I also think one of the things I would have built into it is discussions that the teachers could have with the students before Spice gets there. Answer questions, talk, explain the fact that, she does do these kinds of videos. Those are for adults, they're not for you, but she has learned lessons along her journey and she wants to come and talk to you about some of the things that are important. I think that's something else that could have helped. But having said that, would that have stopped the opposition? Probably not. So I discussed this on my TV program, All Angles. One of the guests was Professor Caroline Cooper, She big advocate of dancehall, and one of the things she said is that we're not being honest about the fact that there's a color issue here because Spice is dark skinned, and she said why not a soul has ever raised a question about Shenseea. For me, I think this has been a missed opportunity to reach our kids. I think we need less judgment, more openness. I think we need less condemnation and more communication. I think we've missed an opportunity to use this particular avenue and to use the conversation that Spice wants to have with our young people to reach them and to teach them the kind of values that we're saying are so important. All right, so now you've heard what I think. I want to know what you think. All right, drop your comments below. And as always, please like the video, share it with somebody who may be interested. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and click the notification bell so you know anytime I have a new video coming out. All right, I'm Dionne. Thank you so much for watching. Boy, after all of that, go and drink my tea.